Jays fans are livid at this as following another brutal loss against the Baltimore Orioles, this time due to the pitching. There is one specific thing that has fans absolutely livid and that fans are fed up with, and one individual in particular is at the forefront of this problem. I'm going to break down exactly what the problem is and discuss what it means going forward, as well as break down some injury updates surrounding Max Scherzer as he left today's game with an injury. We have an update on that front. A ton to go over today, but before we get into it, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. Obviously, the Jays, pretty brutal loss today, and they're 1-2 in the season, but still make sure to hit the subscribe button. I was at the game today, and it started off very, very solid. Obviously, the Jays went down 2-0 early. You come back out, you put up a 2 spot. The offense is looking better. Andres Gimenez looks great. And then, of course, one issue in particular happens, and it is surrounding Max Scherzer. And let's dive into it. I'm going to dive into the problem here in a minute, but let's dive into the box score first a little bit and go over a couple things. Now, Gimenez with another home run. He's off to a fantastic start this season. Bichette, 4 for 4, an absolutely fantastic start in his own right. Vladdy, not a great game. Santander, not a great game. And the offense in general wasn't the problem. They put up 5 runs. They got some clutch hits when needed. Of course, they could have done better, especially in the second half of this game. But I want to talk about a couple different things. And obviously, you look at the pitching. Now, you're going to notice a major problem here. Max Scherzer went 3 innings and gave up 2 runs. Now, both of those runs were solo home runs in the top of the first inning, and he was cruising through the next 2. And then in the bottom of the third inning, with 45 pitches, we saw a bullpen arm, Richard Lovelady, start to get up and warm up. And at this point, Andres Gimenez just hit a 2-run home run. I believe it was in third or second inning, whatever it was. But Andres Gimenez hit a big home run, right? So the Jays now, are up 4-2, and then you're hoping that Max Scherzer come back out and play really good baseball. Richard Lovelady starts to warm up. Now, Max Scherzer went down with an injury. We'll dive into an update on that in a little bit here. But this is the exact reason that you have Ryan Yarbrough. And this is why the Jays, A, should have kept Ryan Yarbrough on the team, and B, they should have made some sort of other bullpen acquisition. Your only long guy at this point is Yariel Rodriguez, who pitched 36 pitches on Thursday, which led to him being unavailable today. You're going into the 4th inning with a 4-2 lead, and you have, in the bottom of the 3rd, of course, Gimenez hit the 2-run home run, and you have a 4-2 lead, and you have to throw out Richard Lovelady against a very good Baltimore Orioles offense. And what happens? He hits 2 people after hitting 3 people in 9 spring training innings, so this is not something that's new. And then he gives up a bases-clearing double over Santander's head. He gives up 4 runs in 1 inning. Then you put out Jacob Burns. We're in 2025, the 3rd game of the season, and the Toronto Blue Jays had to put out Richard Lovelady and Jacob Burns because they had no long inning guy. They have no long relief guy. And this would have been a perfect spot for Ryan Yarbrough to thrive. He was fantastic for the Jays last year. He was pretty fantastic for the Dodgers in his own right. He's great in the Rays in some years. It's at the point now where this falls squarely on Ross Atkins. And you look at this here. They DFA'd Zach Pop, Tommy Nance, and Nick Robertson. Nance would have been 10 times better than Jacob Burns. And having Tommy Nance would have been much better than whatever this was, because Jacob Burns wasn't much better than Lovelady in his own right. And Jacob Burns has never been good at the major league level at all. He's never been a good baseball player. Since 2019, he has a 5.61 ERA, a minus 1.6 WAR. He made the team over Ryan Yarbrough because they wanted to save on a couple $1 million, and they figured that Richard Lovelady was going to be a more traditional, guy. Regardless of who you'd rather pick, the fact that they had to run with, and they did run with, Jacob Burns and Richard Lovelady over Ryan Yarbrough is, it's asinine, but it's also just the bullpen right now is in complete shambles. We saw Jeff Hoffman. He looked great. Jimmy Garcia looked great. Even Chad Green gave up a home run, but you have a fine back end of the bullpen, but that middle relief and even early relief in games where you signed a 41-year-old Max Scherzer to a 1-year deal. You're hoping he would be able to take over some of the innings. You have an aging staff at this point. You're going to need to have guys who can, long relief. Yariel Rodriguez has been horrible in the bullpen, and he's been horrible, of course, in spring training and in the regular season. Having Tommy Nance would have made a lot of sense, but even if you didn't want to go with Tommy Nance, Ryan Yarbrough was right there, and he got picked up immediately by the Yankees, who put up 20 runs today. And you can see this here from some writers, fans, everything. We're obviously still very early into the season here, but this Blue Jays bullpen is going to be problematic again this year. Not great for a team that's looking to contend. I don't think it's the back end of the bullpen. I think Chad Green, Jimmy Garcia, Jeff Hoffman, and Eric Swanson is fine. But when you have Richard Lovelady, Jacob Burns, Chad Green to a degree, but Yariel Rodriguez, you don't have enough middle relief guys when your starters aren't doing good to contend in the AL East. You can see this here, not much John Schneider can do here. The loss falls completely on Ross. I don't care about injuries. Jacob Burns and Richard Lovelady can't be your best options. Not only can they not be your best options, it was one of the worst decisions they've made in this offseason not bringing in Ryan Yarbrough or someone else. It doesn't even have to be Ryan Yarbrough, even though they had him signed. Someone else who can be a guy who can give you some, not necessarily elite innings, but long relief. That's what this team needs. That's what they've needed the whole season. Yes, in theory, Yariel Rodriguez would have been that guy, but he pitched the other day. You have Max Scherzer. You know Max Scherzer is dealing with thumb injury, and you know that he was going to be dealing with this, following the physical and all these things, and they still go out and they go out and they don't sign Ron Yarbrough. It makes no sense. It's absolutely ridiculous. And quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, it is absurd that we have had to come to this point. And let's talk about Max Scherzer a little bit here. So John Schneider says that Max Scherzer first felt something in his warm-ups, and they tried to pitch through it with some caution, but they made the call after 3 innings. Frustrated is a good way to put it. I think if Max Scherzer is healthy and he stays in this game, the Jays probably would have won it. They were up 4-2. They had the momentum. They finally showed a bit of life. They were able to get and string together some runs after being down 2-0. They came back to make it 4-2. And then you're just, because of Ross Atkins' devastating bullpen, you're able to actually go out and play good, baseball. And then because of the bullpen, you go out and you absolutely it's a dumpster fire. But this is what Max Scherzer said. He says the lat injury is 100% related to his thumb, and he felt he would put himself in imminent danger if he kept pitching, which is crazy. The thumb is absolutely critical to your arm health. I've got to get this 100% before I pitch again, which we'll have another video covering that. If you think back to spring training, Scherzer said the same thing. They said he got removed with a lat injury. It is directly correlated to the thumb, and he says he's got to get this to 100% before he pitches again. The Jays have some work to do now, whether you call up David Robertson, whether you call up Jake, call up, and I mean by call up, I mean phone his number and sign him as a free agent. Or you call up Jake Bloss, something like that. Or you make a trade for Dylan Cease and really go all in here. The team is core right now as it pertains to the starting rotation is in imminent danger, like Max Scherzer said, for his thumb. Because, of course, you have Chris Bassett going tomorrow. You have Bowden Francis going on Monday. You are now, assuming Max Scherzer misses some time, you really have no one available to start. I guess you'd start Yariel Rodriguez, who has looked horrible. You don't have much room here. And as you start to look at the game, the offense has looked okay. Like Will Wagner got a hit. Nathan Lucas, got a walk, struck out a little bit. Bo Bichette looked fantastic, 4 for 4. He has a good chance to be one of the best hitters and lead the league in hits AL. Vladdy is having some of the worst at-bats when it comes to striking out. Like, as a whole, he's doing okay. He laced a single in the first inning, but ever since that laced single, he had some horrible strikeouts, and it's not to hate on him. Hopefully he'll come along. It's still early in the season. I'm not ready to overreact about the results of the first 3 games, but I am ready to overreact about the way this team is constructed in the bullpen from top to bottom. And the top is fine. Jeff Hoffman, you had to throw him out there, get his first appearance. He looked electric. Just giving up an infield single, but the defense looks fine. Everything looks good. What doesn't look good is the Jays starting pitching into the long relief, and it's going to be a question mark all season long. And hopefully the Blue Jays can go out tomorrow and put some of these questions to rest with a great start from Chris Bassett and then a great start from Bowden Francis. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll wrap it up. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. Just absolutely brutal. Hopefully the Jays can bounce back. Cheers.